name's Jim Leahy, and this is the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 on AM 560. The Answer. The show is brought to you by Open Tax Resolution and the Law Office of Stephen A. Leahy, PC, 312-664-6649. We want to thank you so much for tuning in the show. Remember, what we're doing right now is you're getting a live feed. So if you want to ask a question, please ask questions so we can answer them during our show, if you have any whatsoever. Because a lot of the times we'll go through the show, Uncle Steve, because he is my uncle.
That's true.
Hold on. And you'll notice that we're not answering every question. We have a theme with the show. We're not answering every question. So if you guys have any one of the, if you have a question, we're not answering it, please.
I thought we were going to pretend like that we weren't recording the show while we're on the show.
No, what I'm trying to tell people is what we're doing. What you guys are doing is going to be able to look at our show live, but it airs Sunday at 5. So we record on Friday. Show airs Sunday. So stick with us during the commercial break. We'll love to answer questions if you guys are tuning in or watching. Remember,
correct.
The open tax resolution 312-664-6649.
6649.
Love it.
And whenever Debbie's ready, we're going to move along with this show.
Pursuant to Internal Revenue Service guidance, be advised that any federal tax advice contained in this program is not intended to be used, and it cannot be used by any person or entity for the purpose of avoiding any tax penalties that may be imposed by the Internal Revenue Service or any other U.S. federal taxing authority or agency, or promoting, marketing, or recommending to another party any transaction or matter addressed in this show. The opinions expressed by the host and the guests are their own and may not be used as authoritative advice. Any use of this material without the written consent of the host is strictly prohibited.
You're listening to the IRS Radio Hour with your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy, on AM 560, The Answer. Tune in every week at 5 for an informative discussion about IRS obligations, credit card debt, mortgage default, collection activity, and how to resolve these legal issues using tax resolution, debt settlement, mortgage loan modification, foreclosure defense, and bankruptcy. Your host is Stephen Leahy, and the principal at Open Tax Resolutions and the Law Office of Stephen Leahy, PC. Stephen is the author of Deal with Your IRS Problems Today. IRS and debt issues are serious, but there is hope. There are resolutions. So get ready and take notes during the IRS Radio Hour. And now, here's your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy.
Hello, Chicago taxpayers. We are coming to you from Studio C at AM 560, The Answer. This is the IRS Radio Hour.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
This show sponsored by the Law Office of Stephen A. Leahy, PC, and Opum Tax Resolutions.
God bless you, Opum Tax Resolution.
Opum helps people achieve full financial recovery.
Say it again.
Full financial recovery. We help people dealing with IRS problems, audits and levies, liens and garnishments, collections, unfiled tax returns, and payroll tax issues. We also help people with mortgage foreclosures, loan modifications, bankruptcy, and other debt-related issues. So if you have any of these problems, or if you know someone who does, you should give us a call at 312-664-6649. Again, it's 312-664-6649, or join us on the web at chicagotaxteam.com. I am your host. I almost forgot that. And I didn't forget that I was a host. I almost forgot to tell you that I was a host. I am your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy. I want to welcome our technical producer, Deborah Schreiner.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Debbie.
Hi.
Hello, Deborah.
And also, I want to introduce my nephew, my co-host, my very good friend, Jim Leahy.
Happy New Year. I just want to take a sip of tea if they'll let me. They told me there would be tea. Oh, it's a disaster. Okay, well, we'll just have to rough it. I'm going to be just like everybody else with no hot tea.
That's right. I'm just going to be like everybody
You're
else.
kind of a diva, kind of like her. You're a diva like her.
I'm going to be like everybody else. I'm going to have my tea and drink it too.
You think after the last
Cold,
year,
warm, doesn't matter.
warm milk, perhaps?
Ladies
Anyway.
and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for tuning into the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 on this wonderful station. I am your co-host, Jim Leahy, and not only do we talk about those things that attorney Stephen Leahy talks about, we try to talk about things that are relevant to you, the Chicago taxpayer, and news is just part of that relevancy.
That's
in
correct.
Tax paying. So, without further ado, the News Roundup!
Review and comment on the news.
And there's a lot this week. Did you hear about the dog that died in the United
I
Airlines?
did, and I saw a commentator talking about this who used to be a stewardess, and she said, I couldn't imagine any stewardess saying,
Why would they say
you
put
put
the
a
dog
dog
up
in
there? Yeah.
No one else came over and said, you know what, Connie, we probably should. I don't know the person's name,
Yeah,
but
Connie, her name.
if
Yeah,
it was Connie, we probably shouldn't do that. Let's let the dog be under the
But she
seat.
said that she didn't know that there was, and if you saw the bag, that the dog was in a bag. So she took the bag and told her to put it up because she thought it was a carry-on. That's what her story is. I don't know if it's true or not. And then other people said, well, we heard the dog barking. Well, why don't you get out of your seat and let the dog out of there? If why would everybody sitting around let the dog get in there? I wouldn't put my dog up there.
I was talking with,
I don't care what the stewardess says.
I would have waited till the plane took off
and then got
took
my
dog
dog
out.
Yes.
And
Makes
said, we're
sense.
in the air.
What
are you going to do now?
I heard
Yeah,
I heard
that's a
Dan
good
and
point,
Amy
yeah.
talking about it this morning, and they were saying something about flying a dog in a private jet. I never got that. I don't. Did you hear anything like that, Debbie?
What?
Like United gave them another dog and flew it here. I don't know. I'd have to look up this. I'll do it during the.
I was
going to
say what the payout is because I was talking with somebody and they go, oh, it's just terrible. The dog died. I was like, look, it is terrible. And they're like, oh, but God, this got to be traumatic. I'm like, until you get the check.
Yeah, I know, and it was
It's terrible.
It was,
Say,
only, it was only a puppy, so they hadn't had it very long. So it wasn't like some family heirloom dog.
It is terrible. It's terrible.
I know. I agree.
Dogs shouldn't be up
Suffocated. That's a terrible way.
Shouldn't be up there, but
I agree.
once you get that check, it's
Well, and of course the numbers. As you said, if they flew a new dog in, what does that cost? Just to fly a dog in, $100,000 just to fly the dog in.
No, just cut me a check. It's fine.
I could go without the dog. Just cut me the check. I know it is sad, and I get it.
I don't want to look insensitive, but I mean, with all honesty,
Of course, you are
go,
insensitive, and that's one of your endearing
aren't
terms.
they suing
Jim.
them?
I don't think yet, but they will. Of course they will.
It's funny because somebody
Well,
goes,
they'll
well,
just
it's not
throw so
about
much money
they
at
go,
them.
"It's not
Please
about-"
don't sue us so we can get it out of the news.
I heard somebody, because United needs to get out of the news.
Yes, just take the money. Just don't sue us. First, let me get an attorney so the attorney can share it on the wealth.
Well, no,
okay?
it's funny.
So, as an attorney, I am I'm all for the attorney getting his end. I got to get my third. But that's going to happen, and I get it's kind of a sad story. It is a sad story.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We should talk about the Pennsylvania congressional race. You want to talk about that, or do you want to talk about
the students walking out of class?
The students walking out of class.
Did you see the kids that tore down the American flag?
No, I did not. Did you
walked out of school, tore down the American
or
flag?
Or what else we could talk? Or the kid.
Microaggressions are real! Microaggressions are real!
Ow! Ow, Charlie! Ow! Charlie! That really hurt!
That really hurt. Did you see that the kids that walked out in Chicago Simeon High School walked into a Walmart and trashed it? Did you see that? It's like, really, this is what you're going to do? Or did you see the illegal immigrant who was named to a statewide post in California? Did you see that? They're
what?
To a statewide post by the government of California. I forget what post it was, but some government official post. They
really?
They named an illegal alien who has a law license. How does that happen? How do you get a law license when you're illegal? You shouldn't even be here. And she came when she was 14, so she didn't come when she was like 2. She was 14 years old. So and she there's some problems with her too about her. But anyway, because she had left. One of the things about the DREAM Act was that you couldn't leave the country and then come back. Okay, if you did that, then so she did that. She left the country and came back several times, went to Mexico and came back. So she's not even a dreamer because she doesn't qualify as a dreamer. Then there's the.
It gets me because so many people are just they make it a whole race issue. It's like, no, it's not. It's not a race issue.
I agree with that.
It's not a race issue. It doesn't matter if you're.
It is to them, though.
That's what I'm saying. They're the racist ones.
Is that La Raza?
We're talking about. Listen, we're talking about. I know.
Is that
the La Raza. But no.
What does that mean? The race.
What I'm saying, it's not a race issue. It's what it is people are like, they make it. Oh, well, you just don't like Mexicans. That's what they'll say.
I know.
No, there's a lot of Polish guys and Russians that come and go to
and the Irish.
And the Irish.
Yes.
Okay, go over to go to any construction site too.
Did you see this?
Russian.
Did you see this? They
all the painters and carpenters.
There's candidates in Mexico running for office, and they are campaigning in California because there's so many Mexicans in California that they could swing a race in Mexico. So they're focusing on campaigning in California. I mean that is crazy to me. It's one thing if you want to be an American, become an American. It's a different thing if you want. It's a different thing if the Mexicans, and they have said this before, that they want to move north and take back a lot of their.
Some have, whatever. If you're going to be racist, not you, but if you're going to be racist, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying them, the people who are putting this power. Well, look, he's illegal. No. You guys are looking at it as a race issue. The person is an illegal immigrant. Doesn't matter what race they are.
That's because they ends the discussion. You just call somebody a racist, it ends the discussion, and you can't really argue with it. Oh, you're just a racist. Oh, so everything else I have to say is irrelevant because you've just called me a racist, and if I defend myself, that just makes me more of a racist.
Yes, and now I'm the crazy one.
Yeah, and again, that's just a way to end discussion, and it works.
Did you hear
because we let it work
real quick too? Did you hear Chicago's trying to bring in rent control?
I did see that, and of course.
We'll talk about it in the next segment. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great show. We have a great show. I know we're running out of time. We have a great show lined up for you today. What are the blog
I want to
report?
own property in Chicago, but the blog report, we're going to talk about why do I need an attorney to help me solve my IRS problem?
And then we have the Mr. Know-It-All segment, and we have great other segments coming up too. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to talk about the Bears too.
Oh,
yeah, I know. But ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Remember, Open Tax Resolution is there for you.
And Loyola.
312-664-6649. And visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com.
It's going to be your hub.
They'll fight the IRS.
I know what you were going to say.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Remember, they're there for you. We hope you're enjoying the show. If you guys want, go to YouTube, check us out because we have a page. But listen to our sponsors and come right back here on AM 560.
The Answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're enjoying our live broadcast. Or, well, if you're tuning in after it's live, I guess it was live at one point.
Still live, yeah.
Yeah, it was live at one point. We hope you're enjoying. Remember, I put a comment.
We have a live studio audience.
That's right.
Doesn't mean it's
Cheers is in front of a live studio. Anyway, we have a comment section if you'd like to leave a comment about,
whatever.
I mean, whatever you guys would like. But if you have any questions regarding the IRS, please feel free. We're doing a live show. Put the comment down, and we'll answer it either on this show or the next show. Remember, at any time you can leave a comment. So we can answer that for you. So if your questions are not answered, come on. We'll answer it. Right. Ask away.
I do get some posts on the.
Yeah,
on
you've been getting a lot of feedback on YouTube, which is really
we got
good.
Several more subscribers this last week onto the channel. I got to tell you whenever we get one, so because you don't know, but we've got several new subscribers.
I'm very happy to hear that. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Open Tax Resolution is there for you. Subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, tell your family, and come buy real estate with me. 847-271-3695.
That's right. So we're going to go into the
I'm going to do during this segment,
Which
not
segment?
on live. I'm not going to put, but here I'm going to push it as
You
much as I
can.
can.
That's fine.
Because I need people to know.
Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a new expert in town. I'm the expert. You come over to me. I'll talk to you. We'll sit down and we'll figure out what we're going to do. Get you in that dream home.
I need people to know that I help people solve IRS problems.
They do, because you have great content on this channel.
Radio station.
Check it out.
I'm also
go
on the radio
through.
station.
I know, but go through. Go on ChicagoTaxTeam.com. Call Opum
Let's
Tax
move along
Resolution.
because we have a time.
That's right.
limit.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
Let's move along.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy. Stephen has helped hundreds of Chicagoans recover from financial disaster, and he wants to help you and your family. There are resolutions, and you will hear about all those resolutions during today's informative discussion of the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560 The Answer. Now, here's your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
I am the tax man, attorney Stephen Leahy. See, that's the song.
I see you.
Yes, you certainly do. And this is the IRS Radio Hour and the tax man, Stephen Leahy, on AM 560. The Answer. Joined here with Deborah Schreiner and Jim Leahy. And we come to you every Sunday at 5 o'clock and hope to entertain and inform. This is one of the information segments.
But before we go into it, I want to thank Deerfield's Italian Kitchen so much. Last night, Thursday, I stopped by, was treated to a great dinner, had a wonderful time. They have a great menu out there, and they're proud. They're proud NRA members and Second Amendment.
Did they ask about me?
Yes, they did. And Second Amendment believers.
Let's do the blog segment.
Deerfield's Italian Kitchen. It's the blog segment. The blog. The blog.
Just enjoying the music.
Me too.
What do we do on the blog segment, Jim?
Talk about blog stuff.
We do. We talk about blog
But
stuff.
you, Attorney Stephen Leahy, talk about what's going on in your office this week.
That's correct. And, this week I've gotten a number of calls. One, actually, was it a call? Well, he did call, but he got me from the Better Business Bureau. And what it came to, when I talked to him on the phone, because he called Bonnie and he set up a time, and you can too. If you have a question, call Bonnie at 312-664-6649. She'll set up a time, especially if you say, I will listen to a show. She'll make sure you put through. She won't try to qualify you or anything. She'll put you through and let you ask the question. And this gentleman contacted me from Better Business Bureau and sent it to Better Business Bureau. They sent it to me, and then I responded to him.
That's a high compliment.
It is.
That you were recommended from the Better Business Bureau because.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and they're very good at.
I would love to be recommended.
They're very good. The Better Business Bureau of following up. Okay, they sent me the lead. I contacted the gentleman, told him to call Bonnie and set up a time. He called Bonnie, set up a time. And here's the situation. He makes fairly good money. He owed about $7,000 to the IRS. Much of that, or a couple thousand of that, was penalties and interest. And he, so he's like, he said, well, what am I supposed to do? I want to get rid of this. And I had to tell him. And this is what I was, and that's why the segment here is, should I hire an attorney to help me with this? So he contacted me to see, should I hire an attorney to help me with this? The answer in that situation is no, because there is a balancing act, right? That costs money to hire a lawyer. What can he save me? What is it going to be worth? Could I do this myself? Okay, so I told him, I informed him about what a penalty abatement is. There is a one-time penalty abatement. And I asked him, did you always file your tax returns on time? He said, yes. I said, did you always pay on time? He said, yes. I said, well, there's this thing called a one-time, first-time abatement. And you can get it. They almost give it. If you ask for it, they'll almost always give it to you. And you can. I sent him the form. I emailed him the form and where to go online and set up his own. If you owe less than $10,000 to the IRS, it's called an automatic payment plan. You could set up automatically. They'll set one up for you. And so I showed him where to go online and set up your own payment plan. And again, this form on how to ask for a penalty abatement. And it didn't make sense to hire me because it just didn't make sense. But I can send them in the right place. And this is what I was talking about, the Better Business Bureau being very good at following up. Later that day, or maybe the next day, I get something from the Better Business Bureau. They call me. Did you get this? What happened? Tell us what happened in that situation. So I informed them that he wasn't going to be a client. He wasn't going to hire me, but I got to send him some information. And they said, well, thank you so much for doing that, because we want people to go to the Better Business Bureau and make sure that they get answers when they have a question. And that's what I did. I would have done that anyway. And this gentleman that went to the Better Business Bureau has listened to the show and heard me on other stations.
Oh, really?
So it wasn't only. It's kind of like, they hear me on the radio on an ad or something. They might listen to the show occasionally, and then they're looking online for tax help because maybe they forget about me, and then I pop up there, and then of course my name pops up on the Better Business Bureau, and they go on the Better Business
It's kind
Bureau.
of what I do too. I've had a few times where people come up and go, "Is this the right time to sell a home? Is this the right market?" And you have to answer correctly. No, I think you should sit on. I don't think you're going to get the right yield. You're not going to be yielding.
Sometimes that makes sense, although I've heard counter. But it depends what market it is, and that's true.
I understand.
And I want to talk about one more case, because I had another guy come in. This time, this guy owed $30,000, $20-some thousand from a 2000, I believe it was a 2015 audit, and they're auditing him, and it was like 20-some thousand. Then he owed $4,000 on another year and $3,000. So it all totaled up to $30,000. The guy was making about $200,000 a year. Okay, so I had and I said, well, do you have any documents to fight because when you fight an audit, what do you need? Evidence, like every other case. Right, you're putting forth a case, and to put forth any case, whether to the IRS or a criminal case or whatever kind of case it is, you need evidence. And he said, well, I really don't have any receipts or anything to support any of my deductions. So I had to tell him, it's not right to hire a lawyer in this situation, because you're going to hire me. You're going to be unhappy with the results because I'm not going to be able, and maybe I could, but I don't know this but without evidence, it's really hard to win. But it'd be hard to save them whatever it would cost me to hire me, because I ain't cheap. Okay, it's just a fact. It costs money to hire a lawyer, and I ain't cheap. And so before that, so I told him, I'm not right for you. Okay, so I'm always honest with people. I always tell them when they come to see me, I'll be the first one to tell you that you shouldn't hire me, because again, I want you to be happy. I don't want to just take money and this is what so many of these outfits do, is that they take money. They don't really care about the results.
Exactly.
They want your money. Okay, you give them the money. Oh, they don't really care about the results. I'm not going to take your money unless I think I can help you. And that's just a fact.
Exactly.
Okay, so in this case, I had to tell him, I'm not going to take a case from you. And then he started. I said, I will maybe charge you a lot less if you don't want me to do the audit, but you want me to set up a payment plan and try to get a lien removed and all that other stuff. I could do that. But he decided, I'm just going to do this on my own, and that makes sense. Because I can.
Why would I come through and take your money?
So he didn't hire me, but he did say, and he also looked me up on the Better Business Bureau, and I did ask him. He said, well, I'm not going to hire you. I'm just going to be upfront. I already said I don't want your case, so don't worry about not hiring me. But he said, don't worry. I know a lot of people who have these kind of problems, and I'm going to give your name. And I said, well, that'd be great if you did that. I don't. That's not why I'm helping you. And it'd be great if you did that. But what would also help me if you went to Better Business Bureau and said something like you came in and you got good advice. Because I want other people to know, if you have a question and you don't know if you should hire a lawyer, well, you should still call me. And that at 312-664-6649. Because if you don't need a lawyer, maybe I can point you in the right direction, tell you what you can do yourself, maybe give you some insight on what the IRS is looking for that would help you in the long run. And even if you're not going to hire me, I can still help you.
Exactly. And how many times, you don't know what your situation is until you actually call a professional and figure out what is the problem. I mean, you might have this issue going, oh my gosh, these people are coming. Let's address the problem. This
gentleman came in, and he made an appointment and came in, but he didn't have to do that. Like I said, the other guy just called on the phone and talked to me on the phone. Yeah. So generally, if you're questionable whether you want an attorney or not, probably do it over the phone, because you don't want to come all the way downtown to find out that I'll tell you don't need a lawyer.
How easy is that?
It's really
Isn't
easy.
technology
Yeah,
amazing?
and again, I have another one. I'm doing an online consultation on Monday. Another guy that got me from the internet. Okay, so and again, I can do this. He can't take the time away from his job, and you know, our schedules didn't work, but I can do an online. We can get on the internet. I have a camera. You can see me. I can do I got a whiteboard so I can explore.
I see you right now.
I can explain everything to him, and we could sign up, and I could do everything online. And it's so easy to do it online.
I love it.
So,
ladies and
so you
gentlemen,
don't have to take time out. So again, if you have a question, call me at 312-664-6649. Visit us on the web at chicagotaxteam.com.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, open tax resolution is there for you. You don't know what the problem is until somebody sits down and goes over what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure this out. And sometimes it's not as bad as you think.
That's someone you can trust.
And you is someone you can trust. That's why I would call Attorney Stephen Leahy, 312-664-6649, or visit chicagotaxteam.com. Be your help to fight the IRS. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. I know we're all feeling a little groggy from yesterday, from St. Patrick's Day, but settle back, listen to some Perry Mason, our sponsors, and then return, because we have more great stuff coming at you here on AM 560.
The Answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoy. Remember, we are doing our show, which is heard every Sunday at 5 on AM 560.
The Answer.
Remember, if you have a comment, please leave it below. We can answer any questions. This show, future shows, just leave a comment and
Subscribe.
we will answer. Subscribe.
That's right. Okay, so what else I wanted?
You know, I wanted to go a little bit just real quick,
Okay,
too.
go ahead.
And that's the thing with your situation where this you told him, hey, you know, I'm just not for you.
Sometimes that's true.
You know, like I just met with a for sale by owner not too long ago, and I sat with them. Or when I mean not too long ago, it was this week. I sat with them and I said, you know, I think they were on a prime location, prime spot. Obviously, I had to do my end and let them know that I'm in the area because I'm the local real estate expert. But at the same time, too, I said, I think you guys are going to have no problem selling your home. But if you do, please give me a call, 847-271-3695. I did the same thing. Hey, I don't think you need me. This is a beautiful piece of property, but if you do, remember me. And I contacted those folks the next day, and I'm still in contact. Contacted them today.
It doesn't do you any good to take a client, any kind of client, unless they're going to be happy at the end. Right? I want you to be happy at the end. If you're showing me that it isn't going to work, I don't want you as a client because. It's not worth that. I want you to be happy. And if you're going to be unhappy with my services, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you're going to pay me. Well, okay.
It doesn't, listen, it doesn't matter about that.
I am kidding.
I know, but it doesn't matter about that. It comes down to making sure, can I help you or not? If I can't help you, I'm going to tell you.
And that's the first thing I'll tell people, and I'll be honest with you. And it's really about trust and honesty. It really is.
Because it's like my dad always taught me, you're not a man if you don't have your word. You have to have your word.
Integrity is
integrity.
I agree with that. 100%. I agree with that. I try to teach that to my sons too. We're going to do a Trump segment.
What are we going to be talking about today?
Well, there's lots of stuff. I'm going to talk about. We're going to first.
Stormy Daniels.
We could talk about Stormy Daniels. I think that's. Did you see Stormy Daniels' mom?
I love that.
Did you see Stormy Daniels' mom?
What about her cousin,
she would vote for
Cloudy Daniels?
It was so funny too because I listened to a stand-up comedian on my favorite podcast.
Okay.
And he was on there, and he goes,
"You can say what's your favorite podcast."
You got to stop the Joe Rogan Experience, and Joey Diaz was there, and he goes, "You got to stop going after people from 30 years ago."
I agree with that.
30 years ago, there was a lot of cocaine. You know stuff makes you do stupid stuff. You know, like come on, it was 30 years ago.
But, But Trump doesn't do drugs.
I know, but that was his joke, though. There's a lot of cocaine going around there. You know, leave him alone. Come on.
It was a long time.
Are they doing it still? Okay, you can judge.
It was a long time ago.
You know, it's a long time ago.
And we could talk about that, but we can also talk about
30 years ago was a lifetime
tariffs.
For, you know.
We could talk about tariffs because I don't think it was 30 years ago with Stormy Daniels, though.
I don't know.
I think it was more like 18 years ago or something like that.
Well, okay, whatever. And if it's over 15 years, whatever.
It was a while ago.
If it wasn't during the presidential campaign,
and he's an old man now.
Yeah.
Trump is in his 70s, so I don't think he's. Whatever. We're
So
gonna talk
what?
about it.
Stephen or John F. Kennedy slept with Marilyn Monroe.
He did. You're breaking some news here, Jim.
This just in.
I think that's what he said to her. Anyway, go ahead.
You're listening to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy on AM 560, The Answer. Attorney Stephen Leahy brings his passion and expertise to your radio each and every week during the IRS Radio Hour. Tune in, take notes, and be educated. Learn your options resolving financial obstacles that face so many. And now, back to the IRS Radio Hour with your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
Welcome back. We are having some fun today on the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560.
The Answer.
And the fun is with me, attorney Stephen Leahy, her, Deborah Schreiner, him, Jim Leahy. And we're going to talk about our favorite president.
We're talking about Trump. Trump.
Take a look at my Twitter account.
President Trump.
Sort of amazing.
We're talking about Trump. Trump.
America first.
President Trump.
Together, we will make America great again. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Oh, okay, I should have said our favorite current
not
president.
my favorite president.
Because we only
my favorite president.
He's not my favorite of all time.
My favorite president.
Although,
who is yours?
Ronald Reagan. Although,
really,
yes,
out of all of them,
Ronald Reagan.
I like Abraham Lincoln.
Abe was a good soul, I guess. He brought in too much big government to me.
Jim, who do you like?
George Washington.
George is good.
He set the precedent. He was the most qualified individual.
He set the president.
He set the president. Yeah,
get it.
No, you're right. Yeah.
I have read a lot about George Washington, and I do like George
Washington.
Washington.
Power was unbelievable.
Nobody thought he would do
unheard
it.
Of.
Nobody thought he would. Remember, this was the same time Napoleon Bonaparte.
And they were actually okay with
him staying somewhere. Well, he might not.
He's king.
Yeah, he's the king, and he didn't, and he stepped aside and he made all of this possible, democracy and all this, and our republic.
Well, a lot of the founding fathers. John Adams wouldn't have been a good first president. He would have been in power forever.
I don't know if anybody could have been a good first, besides George Washington.
I agree.
I don't know if anybody else could have been.
It was a perfect one.
I agree with that. And because Jefferson became president later, Adams was president later.
Even though Washington did include the whiskey tariffs, or the whiskey, not tariffs.
The whiskey rebellion.
But what caused that was the taxes on whiskey, and people were not.
I understand. I get it.
So he ushered in some.
And it wasn't very after the Tea Party, right? That was also about taxes. And so people were. Nowadays we just sit back and let people tax us. Now, talking about that, we're going to talk about Trump and the tariffs, okay? Because this is what I was saying. Maybe he could be my favorite president, and not him. One thing about George Washington and even Ronald Reagan, they were men of integrity, and their personal lives. Were pretty good, and they were, and I can't say that about Trump. However,
he's not a man of integrity.
I agree with that.
But I'm not going to slander.
However,
I don't know him personally.
Whatever he comes across, sometimes he comes across. Now, but I got to say, some of his policies are where he is today, with Twitter and all this. How he runs things is kind of genius. because the tariffs, like when they come up, oh, we got a tariff, we're going to put that, and everybody jumps up, tariffs are all evil, and then he slowly negotiates and takes them away from Canada. We're not going to tariff Canada. We're going to take it away from, we got to redo NAFTA, though. You see, so it worked. It's working there. So it's going to be, well, we won't do it to you, and we won't do it to
Mexico,
you. And it's all about him putting some drastic thing out there, and then backpedaling it all, and the others giving something up for nothing. Something that he never did. He just talked about it. And it's the same thing with everything that he's done. He's been kind of a genius at this.
Is that a personal gain, or is that going to be for, is that for, just
get something done?
Get something done. What I mean,
he's
personal
negotiating.
gain, you don't think anybody's there with his assets going, hey, let's do that. We'll
No.
drop the market out.
No.
Well, I don't know that.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I'm posing
the guy's
a
got
question.
enough. Okay, the guy's got enough money. I mean, I don't really think
When
that
you
that's
come
what
to that point,
it's called negotiation. Okay,
No,
and,
I know.
And people,
I understand.
and he is, and say what you want about him. He did write the book on it, right? The Art of the Deal, and he has done, he has accomplished a lot. And again, the way people react to him help him in his negotiations, and the way he's kind of all over the map. Oh, I'm going to do this. It's going to go against everybody. And he comes out of nowhere with this. It's like, oh my God, and everybody's panicking. And then all of a sudden it really comes out to be almost nothing. Same thing with the gun control. Let's get everybody here. Well, hey, Dianne Feinstein, what would you like to see? Oh yeah, I think that's a good idea. And everybody's, oh my God, he's against guns. He's going against, and then he doesn't go against the guns.
But he was just showing the person.
Yes, and they're putting their cards on the table, and then he can negotiate with them. He's a kind of a genius at this, especially given where we are today in media coverage. That wasn't George Washington's, that wasn't Reagan's reality, but that is the reality today, and he's playing it like a master. And so I give him a lot of credit for that.
Well, I could agree with it, and I can give you a lot of credit, Attorney Stephen Leahy, for being Better Business Bureau accredited. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, call
A+ rating.
That's right. Call Open Tax Resolution 312-664-6649 and visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. That's going to be your help to fight the IRS. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because we got more good show coming up for you. We have Mr. Know-It-All. We have to talk about the Bears. We have to talk about Loyola. So stay tuned because more IRS Radio Hour is coming your way here on AM 560.
The Answer. I actually think that segment went very well.
Very well. But I do think that George Washington is he's my favorite.
I get it. But, the thing is when I was 18, I turned 18 September 29th in 1980. And the election was November in 1980, and that's when he became president. And so that was really where I became of age of politics. There was a teacher I had in senior year who everybody said was the worst teacher in the world, and he turned out to me to be a life changer. And one of the things was he didn't try to teach me. What he did teach me was it was my job to learn, and no one can teach you unless you wanted to learn. And he wasn't going to try to teach you if you didn't want to learn. But if you wanted to learn, he could teach you a lot. But he didn't, So again, taught me not so much about politics. It was a history class, and what we did was read the paper every day. He said, "That's history. It happened yesterday." So, again, the guy changed my life, and he really did. And again, so that's why Ronald Reagan is still my favorite to this day. And I've read a lot about George Washington. Love George Washington.
Yeah,
big fan of George Washington.
I like it. I mean,
I've read a lot about Jefferson too, and I'm a big fan of Jefferson, but not like I am with Washington, or
imagine how tough it was for Woodrow Wilson.
I haven't read a lot about Woodrow
I really
Wilson.
haven't either. But boy, imagine you're standing this anti-war stand. I'm not getting in it. I'm not getting in it. Not getting in it.
I know.
You're like,
in
well,
it.
oh boy, we got to do something. Yeah, you got to get in it.
Okay, so we're gonna do now. Remember, Debbie, we do the tax man. And then we go
what
into...
about Theodore Roosevelt too, with the expansion of the national park system, which just added that level of beauty, and kept those.
Well, is that good or bad? The government now owns so much of the West. Let's not get into that though, because I could talk about
I
that
think
forever.
the Yellowstone's got. We could all agree Yellowstone is.
Well,
there should be parks.
I get it, but the government
understand.
should
I
own
get
half
the
a
question
state
you're saying. I get the question you're posing.
and control people based on it. But I understand.
I understand that.
Okay, so and if you look at the value of land that our government owns, it's we're in the plus. Okay, even though we owe all this money, assets to liabilities. Well, property assets are probably still a lot more than our liabilities.
For the debt and everything?
Yeah, if you look at all of our debt, right? When you look at a balance sheet, you look at your assets, you look at your liabilities.
Wow, I haven't thought about that.
Our assets.
Oh, they could easily just dump that off.
You could sell all that land, even pay everything off. So.
Oh, that's a good idea. Well, it's a savings plan.
That's not a good idea.
Some of it is.
I'm just saying.
How do we get? They sold all. When they opened up the Louisiana Purchase, right? And they said, and they opened it up. They sold all that. They, people bought. They gave it away too, but
a lot of it they gave away
too. But they sold a lot of that.
Yeah, but
land.
if you live there, hey, we'll give you the land.
Well,
they sold it for $1.
They had to encourage people to go out there. Yeah, in Indian country.
That's scary. God, watch the show Hell on Wheels. You'll love it from AMC. Absolutely amazing.
Hell on Wheels is one of my favorite Wings songs. Hell on Wheels. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with it. Are you? Are you familiar?
I have no idea. I don't listen to Wings.
Oh, it's only okay. Him and Taylor Swift are my two favorite lyricists. They really are.
My dad always questioned about you.
I know he did. I won't admit any of that. So I'm okay. So we have a question. Oh, I had a question. What did I tell you? What the question was? Do you remember? What was my question?
Something about renting an apartment?
Taxes. Oh. I wanted to talk about tax returns because it is tax season. Oh, I know the question then. The question will be, and this is for you people, the question is going to be, I have a business that needed their taxes done. Is it too late to complete? I mean, when is it due? That would be the question. When are my business taxes due? I know my personal taxes are due April 17th this year, right, Jim?
That's right.
Okay, I'll talk about that too. That's interesting, I think.
Very interesting. I'm very interested.
I know you're not, but I am.
No, I am interested.
Welcome back to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy. Stephen has helped hundreds of Chicagoans recover from financial disaster, and he wants to help you and your family. There are resolutions, and you will hear about all those resolutions during today's informative discussion on the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560 The Answer. Now, here's your host, attorney Stephen Leahy.
'Cause I'm the tax man.
I am the tax man, and I am Stephen Leahy, attorney Stephen Leahy, here on AM 560, The Answer, joined by Deborah Schreiner and Jim Leahy on the IRS Radio Hour, and my favorite segment.
And now, here's that man with a head just crammed full of knowledge, Mr. Know-It-All.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Know-It-All, the segment where attorney Stephen Leahy gives us his infinite wisdom on all things IRS-related
We
issues.
didn't work that out. Debbie and I didn't work that out. That
was really
same
good.
minds.
That felt really good.
That was good.
Really good.
Jim's been working on that for years.
It has been years, 3 years.
I guess it has been. So here's the question this week is I have a business and I, as S Corporation, when are those tax returns due? That's a good question, don't you think, Jim? Do you know the answer?
Every quarter?
No. Tax returns, like your personal tax returns. When are your personal tax returns due this year, Jim? Do you remember? I just told you.
April 17th.
April 17th. And that's because this year, this is my favorite, Emancipation Day is a Washington, D.C. holiday. And when Emancipation Day falls on a Friday, which is April 15th. No, it's April 14th, I believe. Yes. And when it falls on a Friday, they celebrate it on a Saturday. But when it falls on a Saturday or on a Sunday, then they celebrate it on Monday. And so that's the 15th. The 14th is a Sunday. So then they're going to celebrate it on the 15th. No, that's wrong.
Whatever. You're confusing everybody, just like how confusing it is. It's
anyway,
due April 17th.
They're celebrating
Day.
it Monday the
Monday.
Monday the 16th, and then the next day is the 17th, and that's the day your taxes are due.
So you're due on Tuesday the 17th.
Tuesday the 17th. And then because now again, April 15th falls on Sunday, so they would usually make it on Monday, but because it's Emancipation Day, then it goes to Tuesday, which is the 17th. But business taxes, and this is the question, are due on March 15th. So if you haven't filed your business taxes, it's too late. You're late. Okay?
Oh, really?
Doesn't mean don't file them, right? You still have to get them filed. But I get this a lot in that people, well, I thought it was April 15th, like personal taxes. No. It's not April 15th. And recently they changed the rules that said now your partnership tax returns are also due on March 15th. And the reason why that is when many businesses like S corporations and partnerships, the profits or what are imputed to the individual. So you have to do that first. You have to do your business taxes first to see what the taxable income for the owners is going to be. So you need that month in between first to complete the business returns, determine what is imputed to the owners, and then the owners can do their personal returns because that's who pays taxes. On an S corporation, the S corporation generally doesn't pay any taxes because they don't have a profit, because any profit is imputed to the individual, and the individual pays taxes. Now, this is kind of unique now because they changed. Now there's going to be a big difference between corporate taxes and because they reduced them to 21%.
There's a lot going on here.
And I know, and personal tax returns, which might be as high as 35 or higher than that, 37, I think. Okay, so now a lot of the reasons why you would have an S corp might be gone now with lower tax, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
But anyway, these are all considerations, is my point. Okay, and you have to think about this. So if you haven't filed your business taxes, better get on it. Okay, because you got to be able to finish those before you do your personal returns, and you want to get your personal returns done. So if you have years behind you, and this is a lot of my clients have years that they haven't done their taxes because 1 year falls into 2, falls into 3, and then they get caught into this trap, and all of a sudden one of my first
cascading
exactly. One of my advice to people is try to start getting compliance today. So if you have unfiled tax returns, let's work to get them done by the 17th of April. Your personal taxes, get you in compliance this year, or at least file an extension. Now, how many times people come to see me and say, "Oh well, I haven't filed in 3 or 4 years, but every year I ask for an extension." Well, it doesn't extend it forever. It just extends it till the next October 15th.
Helped out fight the IRS. And we also have Open Tax Resolution.
Facebook page.
312.
Facebook page.
Facebook, and also phone number 312-664.
They have a phone?
312-664-6649. And remember, visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub to fight the IRS. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because after the commercial break, we're going to wrap this show up IRS radio style here on AM 560.
The Answer. You like that, Jim? Nice intro.
I do.
That worked. It worked.
That worked really well. Let us go right into the final part. We'll talk Bears.
Pull up all the new names because I don't even remember them all. Robinson, man, they're just bringing them all in and getting rid of so many people. Glennon is gone, officially.
Done.
You're listening to the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy on AM 560, The Answer. Attorney Stephen Leahy brings his passion and expertise to your radio each and every week during the IRS Radio Hour. Tune in, take notes, and be educated. Learn your options, resolving financial obstacles that face so many. And now, back to the IRS Radio Hour with your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am not your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy. I am your co-host, Jim Leahy, and this is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560.
The Answer.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, every week we try to bring you great content to give you, the Chicago taxpayer, the most information possible so that you can help fight off your own IRS problems. But if you need help, remember, call Attorney Stephen Leahy, 312-664-6649. And if you are looking to buy or sell real estate in Illinois, you give me a call. Jim Leahy over with App Properties. Again, my name is Jim Leahy over at 847-273-695. Now, we're going to wrap this show up. We want to thank you guys. So before we leave, I have to talk about the Chicago Bears. What are they doing?
The Bears. We're not going to play the Mike Ditka. We stink, because maybe we don't.
I don't know if we stink.
I know, maybe we don't. They're bringing in a lot of new people.
Yeah, they are.
I give them that. And I like to see that. At least they're not, I hate when you have a bad team and they say, well, we're just going to stick with these guys and hope that they're better next year. No, that's crazy. They weren't good last year. Don't think they're going to be good next year.
Wouldn't it be great if they just ended up getting that guy from Notre Dame?
Oh, yeah.
That offensive lineman.
Well, they got this Robinson, who's supposed to be an unbelievable receiver.
And what a great name he's got, too, on Instagram, AR15. Allen Robinson, because his number's 15.
I did not know that.
So what I said is he's AR15. Tariq Cohen.
Should he be banned?
Tariq Cohen is 5'6", and Jordan Howard is 223.
Did not know that.
The calibers that are chambered for AR-15s.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
You're an incredible fountain of wisdom.
I'm going to make a shirt. I'm going to make a shirt. It's going to be awesome. People are going to buy it.
Incredible fountain of wisdom.
That I am.
Now, I saw my Hawks game last night. They scored within like 10 seconds of the first period, and then they gave up 5 goals in the first period.
Done.
It's
That's
when you
the year
think
for you.
Just when you think it's going to, what do you think is going to?
They're going to rebuild. They're going to have to. They have to rebuild.
Like the Bears are bringing all these new people. Is that what's going to happen with the?
There was a lot. That the Bears aren't solved.
Oh, I agree with that.
But at the same time, too, there was a long time.
I know, but again, at least they're making some changes.
Agreed.
My kids played ball, and they put the same team out there over and over again. It's like, come on, change.
I agree. And what is it, too? The Cubs are coming out going to be strong as.
I hope.
No, they will. They're going far. They're going to go deep.
They're looking good.
How can you go deeper than?
I'm playing all of the. Yeah, I can't go much.
How can you go deeper than?
Go to the World Series. Go to the World Series. I'm posting all this stuff on my Facebook about these unbelievable plays. I love baseball.
I do too.
Oh, I love baseball.
Oh, I can't wait for it to start.
All these great plays. These guys behind the
start.
back and Baez making these unbelievable fielding plays. Everybody loves to see the ball get hit. But some of these plays that these guys get to this ball, in the field is unbelievable.
I've been hearing Eloy Jimenez for the White Sox is just everybody's going.
That was our guy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
we had a log jam.
Whatever. What are you gonna do? Yeah, we can't. You can't play everybody. There's only 3 spots in the outfield, Jim.
No, I agree.
We have 6 guys for it.
And Ian Happ is one of them.
What are you gonna do? And what are you gonna do if you have IRS problems?
That's very good, Jim.
That's right.
What are
you going to do? I would give Attorney Stephen Leahy a call, 312-664-6649, or visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. It's going to be your hub to fight the IRS. And if I was looking to buy a home in Illinois, in northern Illinois, I would give Jim Leahy a call with App Properties out of Bannockburn, 847-271-3695. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into our show. Remember, same bat time, same bat channel. We have avenues all over social media. We have avenues on the radio. If you're not getting the word out, you're not listening. So remember, tune in next week, Sunday at 5. Thank you so much for tuning in here on AM 560. The Answer.
I was just going to say my office is on Michigan Avenue. You said all these avenues. I said, I'm on Michigan Avenue.
Well, why'd you throw that in there? It's not a point to throw in. They call you and they'll get your address.
Are you going to thank the YouTube people?
Thank you, YouTube people.
Thank you, Deborah.
And thank you, Deborah. Yes.
And thank you, YouTube
And
people.
we got done at a reasonable time, so I hope you can feel better this weekend.
That's right.
Are you going to eat corned beef? Are you a corned beef eater? Corned beef? No. I love corned beef.
Oh, I like it too.
I like corned beef. And Jim's mom's going to make what we call potatoes calcannon, which is mashed potatoes with cabbage in the mashed potatoes.
Oh,
wow!
yeah.
And there's no better sandwich in the whole wide world
Then a
Reuben. There's no
with potatoes cold cannon over the top.
Oh, I like it so much. And the next day will be Sunday, and I'll have corned beef hash, corned beef for breakfast. Oh yeah, corned beef. Love the corned beef. So we're gonna sign off here.
We are gonna sign off. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. And I say remember because we do this every Friday around this time. So check Attorney Stephen A. Leahy's YouTube page. Remember, comment, and we'll answer your question. We will see you next week. Thank you.